Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another giant Skyhawk video. And today I've got some. I'm very very excited for this. I have the winner of today's, I believe, the April 2022 Chalislime Monthly. First place in a field full of branded Despia and a bunch of other meta nonsense. And here we've got this. So I have with me the winner, Mr. CrazyWizza's. Wizza, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm CrazyWizza's, your Dino pilot and Dino DNA enthusiast. I enjoy making jank, and this is the product, my inner machinations.
I really like that, inner machinations, because that absolutely describes what I have in front of me here. Can you walk me through what led you to play this today?
Well, I was always a Dino fan. Like, I played the deck from the first time they dropped the three structure decks, and I've just been rolling with it ever since. So whenever it gets hit, like with Mist 1 or with the banning of EFD and the South, the Earth True King, right? I always manage to pick up the pieces and make it into something I can use. So it's just me adapting to the meta, branded and brave. It's like if you can't beat them, just throw this brave in and try the best.
And you can see that there is everything in this list. It's all here. And
Yes.
for those who don't know, Wizza is also responsible for a few of the nonsense dino lists played in the Moron ban list tournament.
Indeed.
Wizza has developed some jank for that too. All right, so without further ado, why don't you walk us through the card by card here?
Of course. So first the dino part, which is the fundamentals of the deck. So just base, which is okay, and then there's dino base, which is more base. We have three Oviraptor because he's best boy. He either Armageddon's a monster or he voters for one, which is always good. And he finds you Misk, the best card, and card that no one reads for some reason. It just says your opponent can't interact with you. That's kind of crack. Also, it extends, so it's really, really good. It's at one for a reason. There's two Archosaurs, because one is too few and three is too many. Two is perfect, and you're going to see this theme quite a bit throughout this list. It pops your babies, it searches you a pill, it's really good. It's a substitute for Quatless, which is a long uh, gone dino piece. It's really good. And then there are babies, naturally. Two babies and one petite. I used to run three babies and one petite, but then I realized I don't really destroy too many babies. I don't really do baby genocide as often. Um, I usually go through two babies, usually with full combo if it's perfect, or three if I need to really stretch it out. So three is perfect. I don't need to draw too many of them. And next is for our soft brick is Giant Rex. It's not the best to draw, but if you draw it, you can still work with it. You would rather have it engrave, banish off a pill, or whatever you need to use it for. It extends, which is great, but usually I end up tucking it under a Adulka, which is not the best, but it works.
Hmm.
UCD. Best boss monster ever printed. Currently.
Yeah.
That's a nice board you got there. It would be a shame if I summon just easy to summon a big bungus and just stack once over each of them. Oh, they're defense mission? Sure, I'll just send them for free. It's a nice Dragoon, negated, DP, etc.
Yeah.
Anything. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, UCT in this format actually has a lot of really interesting application because not only does it clear a DPE if DPE leaves itself on the field to stop the DPE from coming back, but it also dodges a lot of the protection that the Despia monsters have in the form of the fusion spell. It can also dodge stuff like Draco back if people are equipping it to protect their monster from being destroyed by battle. We saw that in the finals where you just flipped it right down and that was that.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
UCT is just a house in itself, and then our smaller house, but still there, is a Pank. Pank's at one for a reason, since it's the best going second card in terms of a monster. Uh, you can use him for combo extension in very corner cases where he pops your token from Lost World. But usually he's either an extra extension, let's say you already have an UCT in hand, and he'll be your kill target, or he's used as a bridge for Small World, we'll go later on. He's just a very good card in general.
This is a small world bridge?
Yes.
Alright.
UCT, Pank, and Dogra are all small world bridges because you want your Misk, you want your Ogre Raptor, or you want like a baby, and all of them are light. fire and earth respectively, so you can always find one.
That's terrifying.
So
Speaking of, this guy showed up. He's still
I saw
around.
him once in finals, and that's it. I mean, 60 cards. Yeah, makes sense. I saw him once, used it once. In theory, he gets over hard to beat. Like, let's say someone brought a Numeron for some godforsaken reason.
Hmm.
That's a nice Megaclops you got there. Throw it on top of it, or DP, throw it on top of it, or I use it in finals. Throw it on top of the Destiny of Fusion banished stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good card.
All right.
Okay, searchable card.
Mhm.
Scrap. Yeah, scrap. I like combos.
I can see that. Yeah.
Most people cut the scrap engine when they're doing just regular shenanigans. It's just it extends so much for so little. It's just 3 cards and 60, so it's not too bad. If you see what like a scrap raptor, you don't hate it per se. Chimera feels like a pit, but raptors are fine, and they make noodle, etc. And it's a good time when you have raptor on the field.
Hmm.
And now for the brave stuff, which is why everyone's roasting me because I'm sure I know I'm using brave.
Yep. This is, I think, definitely the biggest question people have. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts about this.
Why 2 Aquamancer? Well, why not 3 Aquamancer? It's because I wanted to. Once again, for like the
I can't
LCG
argue with that. Yeah.
3 is too many. Like you'll see 2, and it's still good to see 2. But you don't really want to see 2. I mean, I want to see 3 right, and that's like 2 more rights. What Aquamancer is. So 3 is too many. 1 is too few. 2 is just right. Just right.
All right.
And the one mandatory Griffin Rider, naturally negate an extension, but in if I ever went against Flu, which I did, luckily it didn't, it's the perfect for like nice barrier statue you got there, and some good old wandering punch over.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And then there's this, the one Magician Souls and the one Evolution Chaos.
This is
and 60 cards.
So I do know that like other based variants had actually been cutting down in this card, and they started kind of playing 1-on-1. But I'm curious as to why you thought it was worth including even in like this version of the deck.
Well, before there's a story behind that, small story. Before I put in the Brave package, this was just like 60 card Diamond Bird. Then I thought I would put a small Brave engine in. Like I put 2 Journeys, 1 Aquamancer, and one Journey, 2 Right, 1 Aquamancer, and 1 Wandering, which is it sucks, right?
Yep.
But I was like, this Brave stuff's pretty good, right? It's pretty good. So I had to make space somewhere. And that took the hit. It's still good to see when you draw the Brave stuff because you get a pot of me for free. So I just wanted to keep it in. It's also extension if you need it for like Verte. So
yeah, that's true. It is a free body, and Dinosaur does not have very many of those. So that actually is fair enough. Yeah. All right, and then the double collector here. Very
Token
nice.
Collector. Token Collector is the best card in Dino specifically.
Mhm.
Because one, it stops Brave, it stops Soul, it stops all the token Mecha Phantom Beast Aurodon shenanigans, but it's a combo piece with Lost World.
Yep.
It works like that. It's so good. It's like it's you normal summon the Imperm, like used in during I think one of the Top Cut. Yep. I normal summon Oviraptor and Lost World field. They Imperm by Oviraptor.
Collector.
I summon, I agree Collector.
Get owned.
Enough.
Yep.
It's so good.
It is.
And then
it is just absolutely silly in Dinosaur. I remember you used to be able to do like Dugares combos where if your Ovi got impermed, you would summon Token Collector, pop the token to summon the baby, and then you would overlay Collector and this was pre-Scrap Raptor. You would overlay Collector and Overraptor for Dugares to detach to and revive the Overraptor, which could then use its effect to pop the baby.
That's
Collector enables so much nonsense. Yep. 2 Collector.
Yeah, I just wanted in the side because 3 is too many, 1 is too few, and if I saw Sword Troll or I need Brave Engine or Mega Fan of these shenanigans, I would just side the other.
Yep, that makes good sense.
Naturally. Basic hand trap list 2 Ash, because OCG ratios, 2 Ogre, because OCG ratios, 3 Gamma, because Gamma's good. It's good. It's really, really good. Even if you can't play it anyway. it destroys and negates the monster.
Mm-hmm.
Driver, he do be dodging them security forces.
He's
Nice.
driving. Yep.
He do be driving. One crow, one piece of crow, droll, and lancia. Um, for honestly, for the cross out pieces, yeah. For if I go against trying to gauge, even though they're not really uh, in the meta right now, but still, if I go against them, troll, if they troll me, which hurts a lot, I can cross out it. If I see the cross out, Lancers can get from Dagda, and so I don't only one's good enough. But also, Crow is a really good piece for Small World. It's a dark, and it has a weird stats, so you can get it.
So you can snag Ovi with it. That makes sense. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And then the Scythe, because Scythe, I know, boo, Scythe! It's an auto win against this meta, which is just extra line with Sword Soul, and that's you're running around, so it's just, it helps. Only quite a few matches.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Bricks, Dasher, and Celeste.
They're here.
EP, it go butter.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the Brave Engine, 3 right for right shenanigans, and 3 Lost World, because Lost World is really good. It's everything that you want in Dinos, and it helps you extend and protect your monsters from targeting. If they have a token, especially the Brave token, just slap it down. They can't target any of
No targeting. Yep, there are some very cool interactions this format because of how Lost World works.
Super cool. It's like Swordful, right? They have like a blackout in macro, actually Lost World, and if they have like a right token or something, they can't target any of your monsters. They go on top of the Lost World, and they need to target 2 cards, so you have to have another card to pop.
Makes good sense to me.
2 pill. It's really good. You don't really want to see it unless you can use it. So once again, 3 is too many, 1 is too few. 2 is just perfect OCG ratios. That is Rhoda. That is Dino Rhoda. Why is it at 3? I don't know.
No idea. Thank you, Konami.
Very much. Terraforming is terraforming. That is your 4th copy of Lost World. Fusion Destiny to bring out DP. Law, and then there's Small World, which is the most underdog, really really good card in this entire set of 11 matches I played. It finds me whatever I need when I need it. Sure, I have to lose the card for it, but I'm using that card anyway. Got me Ovi when I needed it, a Water Transfer when I needed it, whatever I needed, it was there.
Yeah, and I imagine in a list where you are playing so many 2-ofs or 1-ofs, and you have like a diversity of engines, being able to just like swap between them at a moment's notice seems pretty good, so that makes sense. And I see like we're still fitting with the overall theme of I really don't want to see duplicates because my whole hand needs to be cards I can play. So
100%.
So seeing 2 Small World is really really bad, but seeing 1 is really really good. So we're doing this.
Yes. 3 is too. I wouldn't see 2 often, but when I do, it would hurt me in my soul area, so I wouldn't do that. So 2 is perfect.
Fair enough.
Also, back to Illusion of Chaos and Mission Souls, they're perfect bridges for Small World too. I don't know how, but it just works. You just find them off of Small World, and then you get OV.
I do like that Edo Pro just lets you look through all the options. Like, 100%. I don't need to know how this card works. I can just the bridges are there for me.
And I would just see Illusion of Chaos or Magician Souls. Like, okay, I don't need these right now, and I get OV wrapped off that.
Just clear them out. Yeah, fair enough. So next.
The 2 crossouts and the 1 call by. 2 crossouts are bad call bys are, so that's what they are. I don't really want to run those 1-off hand traps, but I use crossouts to stop them should I need them.
Fair enough.
And the rest of the journey stuff. 2 journey destinies instead of 1 because normally you get rid of 1 somehow and then you just get your other journey back, which is useful if you want to get like your a tucked away Griffin Rider or whatever you need it for.
Yeah, so we're enabling the grind game and also having like free DPE pops or soul sends or anything. Yes, that makes sense. Course. Fair enough.
And the 1 call.
Yep, it's at 1. So
you'd be surprised. I saw it 3 times in 11 matches. It's pretty good. It's really good.
That's in 60. Sometimes you just see those 1-ofs a little bit more. That's that's just how it works out. All right, so we've got the extra deck. I'm thinking I might go from Link Rebo on the reverse way because I think it makes a little more sense this way. So Link Rebo, obviously.
Obviously, that's a nice Archosaur that sometimes you get bad hands. You only get a miss, and you get like a random dino, like a UCT in hand. You
Yep.
pop the UCT, you think Craigbot, you secure Gardener, and you have another UCT. That's your board, and that's enough sometimes because he has a massive ass, 32
That's very
for some
true.
reason,
Yep.
and he flips cards to himself.
Yeah. And
Uh,
this is also kind of self-explanatory. It's
Indeed. So if I'm not going for like a Griffin Rider, I would just link away the Brave token
mhm.
or the Adventure token for Wind Spider, and that's Verte. That's Verte fodder right there. Secure Gardener is whenever I have a Cyberse monster, just get rid of it, reload, and give it to a Secure Gardener to have a non-dinosaur in the graveyard for Pill.
Yep.
Verte. Bernie Anaconda,
We,
Men of the Hour.
we know what this is here for.
It's a nice DP you got there. It's nice. Two extra monsters? Sure, DP.
Mhm.
It happened often. You saw it in finals. It's just something
Yep.
DP, and sometimes it works out. Just works out.
Mhm.
Hulk. Hulk is nice because he just extends and just I have in this deck. It's weird. I have options to pop site. I have either DP just pops it or the Hulk go into TG the level 5 synchro shooter right there, right?
Yep.
That's your name. Wonder
Wonder
Magician, right?
Magician.
A Wonder
Yeah.
Magician pops the scythe, you special summon scythe, use Wonder Magician's effect. In main phase, you then make battle on the floor.
Mhm.
But normally, since sometimes I just want to use an activate standby, let's say they have where they have some negation,
Mhm.
and I don't really want to risk it. I usually pop in DP and standby, and pop one of their spells, like a Journey of Destiny they put on field, or like Adventure Map or whatever spell they use with Hyperlibrarian tagged out from Help, and then make it Baron anyway.
Yep.
Daggo, he sets sight.
Yeah.
That's his entire purpose.
That's what we do.
Usually I would set sight during my turn, and then during their turn set
No.
Lancia
Yeah.
because it's funny.
Yeah, and just more advantage. And if you've already got it in a deck, you might as well get stuff out of deck, have the bodies, etc.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly that. Phoenix is the best nightmare. He won me a game because they had Zombie World on the field, and I used my
Ah.
bounce on one of their negates. So I used my crypto bounce, Draco back,
Yep.
bounce one of their negates, wherever it was.
We
I was
definitely
like, huh.
we definitely do not like Zombie World. We've
100%.
also got Scrap Wyvern here. You want to talk about how
Oh,
stupid this card is?
You go +4. You just summon and you pop a card in airfield, and then you get Chimera, and then you normal summon, and you go more plus. It's just merge. It's combos.
Yep. The fact that this card is both a combo enabler and also just like a good going second removal tool is very silly.
100%.
Very stupid.
And I thought they're the only one with this because it's a dragon, that's a beast, and that's a dinosaur. Then none of them are the same.
Yep.
None of them are the same.
Yep. Exactly. And it also is. It makes Lost World very high roll too, because you can
100%.
sometimes work through some funny Lost World combos with Wyvern.
I usually do that in the more combo variant of the deck, but yeah, I understand. I didn't have to do it this today during the CSM, but yeah, I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. And we've got the big dude.
Code. When the axis is coded, or the talker man.
When the
He
code
pops
are
stuff.
talking.
Yes, perfect. He's there. He pops stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's endgame. Yeah. Best Builder. The best against almost every deck that isn't weird.
Yep.
It goes good against Thespius, it's good against Prankis, it's good against PK, it's good against every single deck. And you make it with 2/4s, and you use it during their draw phase, and they pass turn, and you win the next turn.
Yep.
Feels good.
And honestly, like, Dweller is insane against the meta, but there are not a lot of decks that can like consistently put a Dweller on the field right now. So nobody is game planning for this. Dweller in this format is really sick.
Nah, Forest being spammed around. Dolga. He's so good. He's so good.
Yeah.
He can chain on a chain, so he can chain.
This card is not once per chain, ladies and gentlemen. Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, eat your heart out.
Per chain, he just pops stuff, he negates activations and pops stuff. It's you just summon him during mid combo before you make your Hal, Dagger or Verte if it's good, if it's a proper combo. If you have the cards not interrupt too many times, or if you have the extenders, and you just sit on them and just like, yeah. Two pops. Pretty good. And then this blue Jinki Amaterasu.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, this card has seen lots of play in Dino over the last 4, 5, 6 months since Misk has been limited. For those who are in the know, you know how sick this is, but can you explain what Amaterasu does for the deck?
Well, in theory, Amaterasu, you have enough threes at the end of your combo with summoning Chimera. You have a Raptor, Chimera, and then like an extra four. It could be either an Oviraptor spare or a Giant Rex that you banished, repelled, and brought back. You overlay all three for Amaterasu, cash one during your turn, and then bring back Misk. And then during your opponent's draw phase, or whenever you can, you would detach another one and bring one of your banished cards. Normally, you bring back Chimera, which is a follow-up for next, which is pretty nuts. It's a very good card on paper. Now, in testing, actual playing, right? Now, not to say anything to any other Dino players, especially the one who won the last CSM. Remind me of their name?
Oh, that would be Favorite.
Favorite ran Amaterasu, was really cool, but very good for their deck. I didn't summon this once.
Yeah, I can
You know?
I can kind of understand why. This list does not seem like it is built to be a high roll combo. My whole hand is making this gigantic board type of thing. This, as even though it's like 16, you're playing a whole bunch of stuff. It looks like it's a little bit more reserved. Like I am making something that is good enough, and then I am running you over on the clapback. Like
100%.
I can totally see why you would be like, why would I dedicate the resources to Amaterasu to get Misk back when I could just make DPE? So I totally
100%.
understand that.
Exactly that line of thinking.
Yep.
You're in my head right now. You're thinking the same thoughts as me. Who needs Misk if I'm not going to turn 3? I'm just waiting next turn anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. Is there? I'll maybe get to that after this actually. But so next up we've got the TG Wonder Magician. Obviously, you're summoning this off of Halka Vibrax.
Yes, you banish your help, summon it, pop your Scythe or an extra card if you already have Scythe out, and then you synchro into Baron de Flor, the best synchro 10 since ever, really.
Yeah,
it pops.
I am actually curious. How often did you summon this? Because obviously the idea is to like TG Wonder Magician with the Artifact Scythe or the Lancia, if you have to, and to put it into Baron. How often did this come up? Because I am curious about this.
It didn't come up like super often, but like in my 11 matches I played, it came up maybe 4 times, and it was successful 3 of the 4 times.
That's still pretty good, like use of a slot then if it's coming up like in like 35% of your matches, like.
Pretty good, but the funny part is, TG sometimes, because I would normally just pop the DP, you can make Baron with your Griffin Rider, and there's the 3, and you synchro any tuner 3, which is your hand trap. You can almost summon them, and then as a Baron. Which I did do in finals, and it was nice and fun.
I did see that, yeah. That's part of why I asked, is because, like, obviously, like coming up with a Griffin, you've got, like, a couple random level 3 tuners, but I was curious about how often it came off a Hulk, but that's interesting, because I don't think I've seen anybody, like, I know this version, like the Hulk into TG Wonder Magician, and then the Baron afterwards, was played in Pendulum Magician for the last like 3-ish months, but I haven't seen it.
True.
I haven't seen anybody do this in Dino, so I think this was really interesting to see this tried out.
Yeah, this is all backup plans. I'm thinking like 4 Paladin versus
yeah.
So normally it would be DP pop the site. Nah, I have a backup plan just in case they have interaction. That's where I leave a health. And I'm thinking, why does he leave a health? Maybe it's just trying to bait me out. Summon shooting Riser Dragon or something. Make some weird play. Nope. It's a backup plan should DP be interrupted to pop the site and then make Baron for free.
Speaking of, here is the big Dumbo himself.
The man of the hour, the king, the creme de la creme DP, destroy Phoenix Enforcer, the best trade you could ever have. You have a card in your field, a card in my field, a card anywhere really pop, and then it just comes back old, and he sets a pot to reads. And in 60 cards, I think I drew the Bricks, Dasher, and Celeste 2 times, so it feels good.
It's not terrible, actually. I've heard people have worse, so that actually is not too bad.
That's one of the main reasons why I'm running 60 cards. It is pain when you draw card you cannot use, and especially a card that you're going to send off for free later from your deck, make DP.
Fair
And
enough.
DP is so good.
All right.
And one of the matches that we didn't get to see because it was someone else in the feature,
Mm-hmm.
I was on the back foot. I was going against Soul. I think I was going against Paperclip. And top deck was just Fusion Destiny. And I was like, huh. This is any other card, I would have probably lost that match. And it was Fusion Destiny. So DP's really good.
Very nice, yeah, and I do also like that. I know I was messing around with survivals and stuff at one point in the format. I do like that DPE can also pop Lost World tokens. So like, if you ever have to like really dig for lethal with a conductor, you can just go like normal baby, DPE pop baby and Lost World token, or even just normal baby DPE pop baby in another card.
It came up. I didn't do it often because usually at that point my entire deck was spent.
Yeah, usually you've already got it, but it's just a funny option.
Just in case.
All right, so off to the side, 2 nib. I assume this is just like a side slot thing.
Yeah, it's for either going against combo or if someone decided for me, I was throwing 1 nib if I'm going first. Let's say I lost and I'm playing combo.
Gotcha.
That's for the cross out. If I'm going against a combo deck, etc., I would side 2 nib.
Yeah. And I guess cross out for nib comes up more in this because you're not always doing the misc line where you're under Dolka and you're having the protection, right? Or,
True. Sometimes.
Or like Griffin, for example.
Yeah. Funny part is, sometimes I would be worried about nib, even though they didn't really do any telltale signs. Like in EDO you can tell when someone has nib if there's a delay.
Yeah.
I would just be paranoid and I would summon 4 times, and then I would just be worried about the rocks if I didn't have the out for it.
Fair enough. We already talked about the individual token collector. We've got. I'm just gonna drop these off to the side. We've got a lot of back row removal here.
Back row hate. It's just hate for back row, including the evenlies. Evenlies also help against other boards, especially if they have a token on field, because they can't banish the token. Everything else goes face down. But since I'm not very well adept against Eldritch, for example, I was going against a pilot who had this cacophony. My list is crazy. They had Despia, Eldritch, Zombie World, all in one monstrosity, beautiful monstrosity, and they activated a rivalry against me. Luckily, I was game 2, and I sided in 3 Cosmics, two Twisters and Harpies, and I managed to see one of them, so no, I managed to get out of it.
Yeah,
it's against any deck that's at 5 pass.
I believe that player actually made top 4, which is hilarious. That 2 very interesting mishmashes were in top 4 here. It is funny to hear that you ran into them in Swiss, but yeah, I guess that makes sense. Especially when you're playing this many cards, you need to be able to see one, so you have to play more.
100, in 60 especially, like I'll barely see any if I don't put in that many.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of going second cards in the main deck, on top of Dino being a reasonable engine going second, so you already have like a lot of the space. And then finally, this is interesting, is Forbidden Droplet. I know a lot of Dino players really don't like giving up card advantage to use Droplet, so I'm curious what your reason was for Droplet as a disruption tool out of the side.
Well, to be honest, Droplet's just
yeah, that's true. I can't argue with that. Yeah.
Like you said yourself, us Dino players, we don't like losing hand advantage. So that's why I felt kind of stingy putting in Small World, because I lose a card in the end of the time, even though I get one card that I need.
Yeah.
The thing about Forbidden Droplet is I also want Brave. And the Brave card's just there, just taking up space. I was like, okay, I'll send a couple.
I like that. Us Dino players have never had card advantage, so now that Brave is here, we're like, whoa, 2 cards? Wow.
Also, if I end up with a board with DP Verte, usually I'll just pop the Verte, so I don't want to get super poly. If I have Droplet in hand, I guess I'll just set that Droplet and send Verte off.
Yeah, fair enough. That is the totality of the list. Is there anything that you might consider swapping? I know you were saying the Amaterasu was good in theory, but it might be something else.
100%. In finals, it just came up the one time, but I didn't have a lethal.
Right.
Which is very weird. So I would exchange the Amaterasu with Unicorn if I
Right.
could, because Unicorn just gets rid of any card.
Yeah, and
Other
quarter
than
cases, I guess.
corner cases, especially because you just make a bigger
Yeah,
access code.
and it makes 5300. It makes access code plus UCT lethal, whereas with the 4300, it's like just under. So that does make sense.
Just under, which should come up, and then luckily through polymerization,
Yeah,
you
top
do
deck
about it.
poly.
It's very,
I was like biting my nails. I was like, come on, please. All right.
If
Uh,
anything else, it would probably be the Illusion of Chaos and Magician Souls. When they came up, they were useful, really useful, but like consistency, everyone's looking at it like, oh no, why is he just running one? I would probably run more hand traps, I guess, or the third Water Enchantress and the third More World.
gotcha. Okay. So either
Everything else about this cacophony is it's just beautiful.
fair enough, and I mean it performed. Do you want to talk maybe about like your tournament run in general? I don't know if you have matchups or if you just want to talk about how it went as a whole.
Yeah, sure. Most of the games were pretty, I'm not gonna say cookie cutter, but it just worked out. Where I'm gonna be real with you, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Okay. Throughout the entire day, I lost one dice roll, one RPS. I won all the other RPSs. Every single RPS from round one up until finals, I won. I just simply won all of them. I don't know
I
if
mean,
I'm based or whatnot. I just won every single one.
there's, I, yeah, that'll do it. And funny enough, this list would probably prefer to win the die roll most of the time. So
Usually, a couple of times it was for my not in my favor where I just bricked and then I had pass turn. But most of the time I just make scythe pass and just look at me when turn two comes around.
and incredible that in the one match where you do lose the die roll in game 3, they're like, here, you can go first.
He makes me go first. And I decided to go on second cards and I saw none of
Yeah.
them.
So I guess I just have, if that's the setup, I guess I just have. Oh, what was your Swiss record, by the way? Were you X2 X1?
Oh, in Swiss, up until round 5, I was undefeated. Then I lost. I lost 2 in a row.
6 and 7. Okay, I mean
Yeah,
5 in a row is still killer, but
yes.
yeah.
Luckily, I won back against the person who beat me in round 7.
Right.
I immediately went up against them in top 16 and beat them then.
Very nice. That they're playing somebody 2 times in a row for top cut. Classic CSM move. Yeah, so I guess my final like question that I've got here is obviously last month Faerun won with a very, very cool interesting list, not playing Pot of Prosperity like a lot of Dino players thought you needed to compete in this format.
Nor am I.
And nor are you, but you are both playing vastly different decks, but you were both able to come to the top of what are becoming increasingly more competitive Chalislime Monthlies. So what obviously that we've had one form of Dino, now we've got another form of Dino. What are your thoughts about Dinosaur moving forward? Do you think it will stay like this? Do you have any thoughts about what upcoming ban list changes could do to evolve the strategy? Anything you want to say, just in general?
In general, Faerun and I both have different visions. Naturally, my pile of chaos versus their nice, neat, consistent, may I add, consistent Dino list, which is just it does what it does often and accurately.
Mm-hmm.
Both are very good in their own rights, and they can both perform. I think because Brave is just so good, maybe people will lean towards the Brave Dino engine. Because if you have an OV and like a right, you just write and wait for the OV next turn.
Right.
It's just so
Yeah.
down its own.
I definitely understand that because I there are definitely like back when I was playing Trap Dino, it was like using it as like a mid-range advantage engine rather than like all-out combo or like blind second OTK. So I totally get the like I'm just holding my pieces until the right time and then I'm spamming the board with it while with everything I got. So I definitely that's why I looked at this. I was like I really like the philosophy.
100%. That was the idea behind it. It's just I don't want to nut my hand on the board and then when they break it, I'm like, okay, I guess you win. No, I like to keep some pieces in my hand. So if they should do break it, and when they do, because Random Fusion is a card,
Yep.
I have follow up.
Yep.
In terms of balance changes, like the best thing that could happen to us is miss back to 3 because no one reads
Wow,
it.
I mean, come on.
It won't happen, but in realistic ban changes, I guess if they hit like the adventure stuff, I would have to move around those pieces. Despia is too new; they're not gonna hit it.
Right.
What's your opinion on it?
I mean, I think what's interesting is if they semi-limit right and they semi-limit Enchantress, you only lose one right. So, so now if that's what they do, not much is happening here. Like a Verte ban, obviously, I think would have to
It would harm the deck.
you would definitely have to you definitely have to rework some stuff. Like it would probably be
Oh,
more
I
focused
have a
on
list
how.
for that. That's in the secret sauce.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just in case Verte gets banned.
I'm sure we'll see the secret sauce in future events. But thank you very much for coming on. Any shout outs you'd like to give, or anything you'd like to promote?
Yes. First off, you're awesome. You were super supportive of anyone in the Dino community, and you reached out to myself to when I was just an up and comer because of my strange strategies, and you helped me along the way. Favorite, for being cool, she came up to me as soon as the finals were over and asked for my list so she could spread to the Dino community while I was just brain fried because of the long amount
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
switches.
It's a lot. It's a lot of rounds.
And Redux, which was one of my opponents, I think in round three.
Mhm.
And throughout the entire day, they were in the comments of the Twitch chat, and they were always hyping me up. And whenever I felt like I wasn't feeling the best, I would see a comment from them, which reinvigorated me. Throughout the entire time until finals, they were always saying, "You got this, keep going." And it was because of them, but a little bit they pushed me forward. They actually pushed to keep playing. And that was from an opponent from round three. Yeah, and it just felt good. That's some nice Yu-Gi-Oh right there. The spirit of Yu-Gi-Oh, playing a children's card game or supporting each other. Felt nice.
Uh, that's kind of an awesome way to put a cap on this, actually. So thank you very much, CrazyWizza, for popping on. To everyone else, if you want to see more stuff like this, I'll have some stuff in the future, but definitely I'll do the typical thing. Like this video, subscribe to this channel.
Dino stuff.
More Dino stuff. Catch y'all
Dino
next time.
DNA.
Dino
Take
DNA
care.
on a routine dig for dinosaur fossils.